This is video 1.3, and the objective of this video is to simplify an algebraic expression. So we are trying to make it simpler. And when we simplify, that means that we're getting all the like terms together. So for example 1, we're going to take the 4xy's and the 6xy's, put them together to get a total of 10xy's. The x's, we're going to do the same thing. 3x's plus 2x's make 5x's. Notice with the y's, there's no other y's in the problem. So the answer there is just plus 2y. Now with the 7's, it was a minus 7, then a plus 7. So we put those together and we get nothing. So we add 0 on there. So we don't actually need to even write anything down for the 7's when we put them together. Now here's where students often make mistakes with examples 2 and 3 when we start to have parentheses in there. Now example 2 says the group plus the next group. That's what parentheses mean. They group things. So when we're adding two groups, it really doesn't mean anything to have the parentheses because we're adding two groups. Now when we're subtracting two groups, that makes a big difference. That means the group minus the second group. So that second group has to be subtracted. So let's take a look at how that impacts the answer. This answer, this second group, needs to be flipped. And the reason why is if we were to draw the algebra tiles, they would be in the bottom. They would be in the bottom of the algebra tile mat, if you remember that from many months ago. In order to get them out of the bottom, we'd flip them to the top, flip them up. And when we flip them, each of their signs become their opposite. So the first group is just going to get copied down. The second group is going to be flipped. So the 9x squared is really going to become minus 9x squared. The 3x is going to become minus 3x. And the minus 4 is going to become plus 4. Every single term flips in that second parenthesis. Now I carry on as usual. I find like terms. I find the x squareds and I put them together. 7x squared minus 9x squared, that makes negative 2x squared. You got to be really careful here and either use a calculator or carefully add those two together. Now we put the x's together. Minus 6x minus 3x. Altogether I would minus 9x's. It's kind of like adding there, but they're all going to be subtracted because they were all subtracted to begin with. The next group is the 9 and the 4. Minus 9 plus 4. Altogether that would be minus 5. This is my simplified answer. I've combined like terms and done as many operations as possible. In example 2, now we're going to add the two groups. This actually doesn't affect anything, so I can just add them as they're written. Nothing needs to be flipped. So I put the 4x squared and the 1x squared together, 5x squared. Put the x's together, and I'll put 4x and a minus x, so 4x minus x would give me 3x's. Then I put the units together, minus 1 plus 7. Minus 1 plus 7 equals 6. And that's my simplified answer for example 2. So your goal with simplifying is to rewrite it in an equivalent form by doing as much of the operations as possible. Be extremely careful with your negatives and adding negatives and subtracting numbers. We commonly make mistakes. Be careful. Be sure to ask lots of questions and get your answers checked along the way. Now continue on and solve the next set of problems.